Because when you start pulling snow with that John Deere tractor.
You beat them up.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you beat them up, but you're not beating that engine up because it's not really working that thing that hard. You know?
But it's the cold. You're saying it's the cold
Oh,
that
yes,
has
very much so. It has, there's
Well, how
no
many
ins-
miles does a farm tractor get per year too? It doesn't get nearly as many as a groomer, does it?
I wouldn't, unless you're a humongous farmer, you're not gonna put that many miles on it.
In the snow belt, how many miles does that groomer go?
7 miles an hour in a field, it's no different.
What's that?
I said, you're still gonna do 16 hours worth of work at 7 miles an hour in a field, I mean.
Right, I understand that,
You're
but
not out there every day with that.
you're not out there 7 days a week for, you know. But again, we all know, and the guys that grew understand that if there's a farm tractor out there that can do the work, most of the time your maintenance is gonna be lower. You know, versus the Tucker, or the Bombardier, you know, or the piston belly. But when you start talking about application of using that piece of equipment, each region is different.
I hate to just tell you, but I want basically two things. There's been talk about, that I've read on the internet and whatnot, the state's buying the equipment now, right? Or they're providing the equipment, whatever. Okay.
Now it's 100%.
Right. And there's been talk about wanting to rotate this equipment every 3-4 years.
Right.
And get everyone on a cycle.
Well, yes, to an extent. I mean,
All the grant sponsors on a cycle to replace their equipment every 3, 4, 5 years.
right.
Is there a market for all this used equipment? Where's it going to go?
We asked that question, and there is.
Okay.
Okay, right now, and we're talking about a lot of this equipment that, let's say, the state of Michigan, if you take some of that, you go to other states that don't groom as much, or smaller clubs like in Wisconsin that don't groom as many hours as we do, that used piece of equipment, that's what they're looking for, because they don't want to spend that high dollar. Okay?
And
So,
then
yes, there is a market.
the second question is, you keep referencing grooming 6 days a week. Are all the grant sponsors now required to groom 6 days a week, or is that something your club does?
This is what it is. In the grant handbook, okay, you need to groom to keep the trail smooth and safe, as many times as it takes. Can I say 6 days or 7 days?
That's because your area.
Well, and there's a lot of times, this last year, Jordan Valley, in December, they grew more than we did in the UP.
Okay.
They had more snow, so
Right.
we didn't groom because we didn't have to groom as much.
So is it no longer now, you don't have to get permission from your DNR contact to groom, you go out and groom every day?
No, they still have to call.
Every grant sponsor has a local contact they interface with. Okay, so they still have to communicate. We have to tell them this, we're
But
going
they
to
don't
do it.
have to get permission. They don't have to call up and Joe and say, can I groom? They say, I'm calling you to let you know I'm going.
I'm going to go.
Is that something that's just recently changed?
No, it's been in there for,
It's been in there, but we have some areas where the department likes to micromanage the field contact, so he'll bully the grant sponsor to say, I'll tell you when it's gonna groom, because we used to do it, and right now you don't have to.
Yeah.
We just had a big case go through, when I say a big case,
for us it is.
Prescott went out and groomed, call their contact, we're going out grooming. It was in December, they went out, and it was like December 10th, and they sent in their paperwork, DNR contact denied it. So they wrote an appeal, they said, look, you know, we had 14 inches of snow, the trail needed it, and the reason for denying it was, well, we didn't feel that there was enough snow because there wasn't at my house. That was the first of his reason. The second reason was, snowmobilers need to get out and pack that all down first, and so you don't need to start grooming until really closer to Christmas.
Lame excuse as far as.
Not an excuse. So he appealed it. The appeal was denied. The appeal was denied by the regional DNR guy, who went on and quoted the weather station in here, which was still 50 miles away from his trail. So he wrote another appeal and went to the state trails coordinator, and he got the weather reports from the 6 different areas right around him, and it all showed that they had 16 inches of snow on the ground, and snowmobilers had it mobiled already up to 2 foot, had pictures and everything. So the DNR still is looking to say, well, too bad. Well, guess what? You know, so we made a federal case out of it, and the guy got paid for grooming. But that's the point of it is, and there's still some of those areas going on. I'll use Houghton Lake as a good example. There's some guys around the Houghton Lake area that tell the chamber, which holds the grant, when they can groom and when they can't groom. We keep going to them and say, wait a minute, this isn't right.
Turbo groom?
This isn't right. You guys need to go out, because your contract says you have to keep the trail smooth, period. And that's your defense. my trail is not smooth, so I'm gonna go out and groom. You know,
So we do have issues there, and that's the reason why MSA got with the grant sponsors, and we said, listen, we can assist you, we need to help you. You're part of snowmobiling, you're snowmobilers. We want to make sure that we, as a team, get together to stop this. We had a grooming entity that was grooming. The DNR contact was behind them in a pickup truck on the snowmobile trail, checking out their group.
Oh, nice.
So basically,
That's awesome.
Isn't that great?
That is awesome.
if
I
I'm
love that.
understanding this correctly, if I as a snowmobiler are going somewhere on the trail,
Hold on, guys. And I don't want to take up, because we've got a lot of stuff here. I know that, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go
Quick
ahead.
answer his question.
Yeah, go ahead.
nah, never mind, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Forgot my question.
Okay, well, I'm gonna jump in for him real quick.
Yeah.
I assume that the DNR, I didn't know about the field contacts, okay?
Yes.
But I assume that the field contacts are the same guys that are out patrolling.
No,
They're not.
field contacts are usually guys who work for forest management, that their jobs are to mark trees for sale areas, for
They work on the forest division.
timber.
Okay, so they're not the same guys.
No, the guys you're thinking of are logging.
Great.
Now,
Okay.
let me put this in perspective. There's a lot of grant sponsors that work real well with their local contacts. In the UP, most of us work real well with them, which is a good thing. Because when you get below the Mackinac Bridge, that there's some issues down here.
So what you're saying is the trolls all mess it up?
No, not always. No, it's just we got a couple key people in the DNR that need some adjustments being made.
Need to be
So
replaced.
we have some issues there that we're addressing that
Inside the actual,
actually DNR, right. And it's not fair, you know, it's like beating your head against the wall every day and saying,
does that
back
one
to the
guy
beginning.
control the Jordan Valley area?
Don,
Individual basis.
Don,
Yes.
I want to ask a question relative, I mean, this information is outstanding. I got to tell you, those of us that live down here that have absolutely no idea how the grooming takes place need to hear this message over and over and over again. And frankly, the 99% of us that aren't here need to hear this over and over again. The question, though, that I have is, given the small groups of people that it sounds to me actually make this grant sponsor program work in every individual municipality up there, is this program in its current format, where it's primarily volunteer-based, is it sustainable? I mean, are you going to be able to continue to get people to volunteer? Not a lot of people have the dedication that I'm hearing you talk about over and over again. How's it
Yes,
gonna-
there is, and this is some of the reason why Jim and I talked, Bill, Ken Scott, the past president, the immediate past president, and Rick Brown, the past president. We talked several years ago. We knew we had an issue. We realized that, well, 5 years ago when we put the word, there's so much information I could, hockey game, I can tape the hockey game though. There's so, what, 5 years ago when we realized we had a big issue with the DNR, we went to the Ram Center.
Let me put it in a nutshell. Yes, it is now. 5 years ago, we didn't think so, because the department basically was running the grant sponsors so far into the ground that they were ready to throw it away and say, screw it. Get somebody else to do it.
Yep.
So, but I think we are now as involved as MSA has been getting with the grant sponsors, because before it was the grant sponsors, MSA was over here, and
There was no,
we make it a concerted effort that grant sponsors are a part of this picture, and they're the integral part. Yes, MSA represents you as riders, but guess what? If those grant sponsors aren't represented, if they aren't happy, they're gonna give you crap trails.
and
So
we'll,
the goal is to make the grant sponsors happy, will make you happy, make me happy as a rider.
what we found out is, what happened is the grant sponsors were getting information. Each grant sponsor, misinformation. Each grant sponsor was getting different information for the same question. And so when we found that out, we went, we got to change that. Rick, go ahead, or I'll stay real late and they'll. I think it needs to be.
I've read the crowd, I've read what's going on here. I think y'all just need to stand up for a second, stretch.